Hi everyone, welcome to the History Football channel. Tonight I'll be doing another Forgotten Football Ground as part of my Forgotten Football Ground series. I've done plenty of videos so far and a lot of Forgotten Ground, so if you've got some spare time, go check them out. But tonight I'm going to be doing Roker Park, the former home ground of Sunderland between 1898 to 1997. Before playing at Roker Park, Sunderland played their home matches at Newcastle Road, but the then chairman and his brother decided to build a bigger ground for the club, and it was negotiated with a Mr. Tennant that they would buy farmland, and part of the agreement was that Sunderland would have to build a house on the site as well as their new ground. Until this house was built, Sunderland still had to pay rent on the land. On the 10th of September 1898, Roker Park was officially opened by Charles Vane Tempest Stewart, 6th Marquess of Londonderry. The first match was a friendly against Liverpool, which Sunderland won 1-0, with Jim Leslie scoring the stadium's first ever goal. The Roker end was constructed in 1912, and by 1913 the capacity had risen to 50,000. In 1929 the old wooden grandstand was demolished and replaced by a new main stand, which was designed by Archibald Leach, whose influence in the criss-cross latticework can be seen at Ibrox, Home Park at Plymouth Argyle and Goodison Park, Everton. Fragments of the iconic latticework would later be used as separate parts of the car park at the Stadium of Light. The work on the new main stand nearly bankrupted the club. By this time the official capacity of Roker Park was 60,000 people, but at some matches there would be crowds as large as 75,000. More work would continue in the 1930s, and in 1936 the clock stand was rebuilt. The 140 metre long structure was officially opened by Lady Rain, whose husband was Sir Walter Rain, the chairman of Sunderland AFC at the time. In 1943, during the Second World War, a bomb landed right in the middle of the pitch and another killed a policeman nearby. In 1952, Roker Park was fitted with floodlights, being only the second ground in the country to do so after Arsenal's Highbury Stadium. The lights were only a temporary addition and were replaced by permanent structures at the end of the season after proving to be a success. When England hosted the 1966 World Cup, improvements were made to the clock stand, involving additional seats and a roof over the Fulwell end. Temporary seating was also installed in the Fulwell end. The capacity of Roker Park during the World Cup was 40,310 people. In 1955, Roker Park hosted an FA Cup semi-final replay between eventual winners Newcastle United and York City, who were in the third division of English football at the time. Newcastle won the game 2-0 in front of a crowd of 55,239. Sunderland were in the other semi-final but lost 1-0 to Manchester City. During the 1970s, there were further upgrades to Roker Park. These improvements included installing underground sprinklers, upgrading the floodlights, installing electronic crowd monitoring systems and resheeting the roof. In the 1980s, with a downturn in the club's fortunes, which included a season in the Football League 3rd Division, Roker Park started to decline. The capacity was severely reduced following the report in the Hillsborough disaster of 1989, with the Roker end suffering the most. With the issue of the Taylor report, Sunderland were on the lookout in the 1990s for a new ground to play at. In 1992, Chairman Bob Murray decided that he was going to move Sunderland to a new stadium, and there were plans to unveil a 48,000 seat stadium near the Nissan car factory in Washington, which would have been part of a mega leisure complex, but Nissan objected to such a site being developed near their factory. Instead, 5 years later in 1997, Sunderland moved to the Stadium of Light in nearby Monk Weymouth, on the site of the closed Monk Weymouth Colliery. In the 1996-1997 season, it would prove to be the last at Roker Park, which also saw Sunderland in their first ever season of the reformed Premier League. Unfortunately for Sunderland, it ended in relegation for the club. The last competitive fixture at the ground was a 3-0 victory over Everton. In a special ceremony after the final farewell game, coincidentally also a 1-0 win against Liverpool, in which Sunderland midfielder John Mullen scored the stadium's final ever goal at the Fulwell end, Charlie Hurley, voted the club's player of the century, dug up a centre spot of the ground for it to be planted at the new stadium. Following the move to the Stadium of Light, Roker Park was demolished and in its place was built a housing estate. To commemorate Roker Park, the streets were named Promotion Close, Clockstand Close, Goalmouth Close, Midfield Drive, Turnstile Mews and Roker Park Close. Roker Park during its life hosted 3 England internationals. The first one were against Ireland in the same year the ground was built. They won that 13-2. They also played against Ireland in 1920 and then again in 1950 against Wales, where England won both of those games. Roker Park also hosted England B matches, England under-23 games and England under-18 matches. During the 1966 FIFA World Cup, Roker Park hosted 3 group stage matches, and it also hosted a quarter-final between the Soviet Union and Hungary. The biggest World Cup attendance at Roker Park during the tournament was 27,793 people who went to see Soviet Union play against Italy. The record attendance for a football match at Roker Park came in March 1933, when Derby County were the visitors in an FA Cup tie and Sunderland played in front of a crowd of 75,118 spectators. For the highest league attendance at the ground, that come on the 4th of March 1950, when Sunderland played against bitter rivals Newcastle United. It finished in a 2-2 draw and 68,004 people attended that. The lowest ever recorded attendance at Roker Park was on the 28th of July 1969. 880 people attended to watch Millwall beat Sunderland 1-0. The lowest recorded league attendance at Roker Park come on the 11th of April 1934. 3,841 people attended a match against Manchester City, which finished goalless. Roker Park also hosted Sunderland's only ever venture into European football. In the 1973-1974 season, Sunderland qualified for the European Cup Winners' Cup. In round 1, they played against Vasas Budapest, who they won against. And then in round 2, they hosted a match against Sporting Lisbon, where they won the home tie, but lost the away fixture 2-0. So there you have it, everyone. That's my video on Roker Park, former home ground of Sunderland between 1898 to 1997. Of course, for Sunderland fans, it would hold a very special place in their hearts. It's also, of course, the ground where they won all their major honours at. All their 6 league titles, the FA Cups, the League Cup, were all when they were based at Roker Park. And they had some really good moments there, some very, very good periods of success as a club when they were based at Roker Park. And it looked like a pretty good ground to go to, actually. I've heard some stories of people that have been there and they said that it was great for atmosphere and it was a good day out to watch a game of football. So anyways, everyone, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. Let me know your memories of Roker Park, if any, if you ever went there. And I've got plenty more videos coming out on the channel. I should be doing a few more very, very soon. So anyways, everyone, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.